set up email marketing campaigns, understand audience, how to set up your audience, and also build your list. And I also went in to talk about what email marketing is. And I told us that email marketing is the strategic use of emails to deliver relevant content, promotions, and updates to your subscribers. And I told you that the keyword in this is your subscribers, or people who have opted in. And I remember I said email marketing is one of the most effective form of marketing, because one way or the other, it is one of the form of marketing that you get to see your result. You see what is working, what is not working, you let it go, and all that, right? And then in email marketing, I also talked about we have where you get to see who has opened your email, who has not opened your email. Jesus. Sorry, I just have to stretch, and I'm extremely tired. So where you get to see who has opened in your email, who has not read your email, and you decide to do even what we call content drip. And I remember I also added that in here is a simple representation of an email where I just recently, I think I got it from their landing page, and I was just trying to claim this to see what exactly media buying roadmap is all about. The lady runs a course on media buying, and I just said, let me have a walkthrough on it. And immediately I opt in on their landing page, I got an email. So now basically this email allows me to it now gives her access for me to be on her list. And if I no longer want to receive emails from her, I can just unsubscribe and I'll no longer see emails from her. So you might not understand what all this is, but that is why we're actually going to talk about it properly and more practical. So back into our slides, I talked about how we have various forms of email providers, and I said we have over 1,000 email service providers in the world, and even more are coming up, right? But for the purpose, these are some of the top email marketing providers that we have. We have the MailChimp, we have the SendyBlue, which is now called the Brevo, we have the Fluent CRM, Active Campaign, ConvertKit, GetResponse, Weber, we have MailerLite, Clivio, Campaign Monitor, a whole lot of them. We have Zoho and the rest, right? So we have a lot of email marketing providers you can actually use, right? So and this is another thing I also talked about, is how some email marketing providers only allow you to send free emails to just 500 of your subscribers, and the moment you hit 500 you must pay, right? Or you get to pay. And this is why kind of I prefer MailerLite, and then and that is why we'll be using, for the purpose of this class, we will be using MailerLite for our class. And one thing I want you to understand is the moment you understand how email marketing works, you can work across any provider, because it is just a different provider with a different interface, but it doesn't take away what email marketing is or changes the dynamics of email marketing. So quickly, we're going to go into MailerLite, and basically MailerLite allows, one of the reasons I love MailerLite is the fact that MailerLite allows you to even learn in 30 days. And even if you're not on their paid plan, you can still send campaigns, right? You can still send campaigns. I don't really use most of these email providers because personally I have a custom email service I've set up for my for my own company and um for my own learning management system now. But it doesn't change the dynamics of you learning this, because what I do is quite way advanced over this. So MailerLite, as you see, it says create email automation landing pages. So the beauty of MailerLite is it can even allow you create websites. It can allow you set up your automation, do landing pages, sign up forms, and the rest, right? So that is the reason why I so much love it. And outside that, again, I kind of feel that MailerLite is one of the cheapest email marketing provider. And look at it in here, so you can see that now look at it. It's $9 per month for 500 subscribers and all that. But for you who is starting out, for your 1,000 subscribers, you get to send even up to 12,000 emails for free every month, right? And they give you premium features for 30 days. And for me, the free plan does most of the job. If you actually want to use it, it does most of the job. Unless your email list has started growing, the free does the job, right? And again, remember I told you the beauty is it allows us to use all the features for 30 days all for free. So this means that Jesus. This means that we can actually take in all that we need to take in our class, right? So quickly, I'm just going to click on my sign up, right? I'm going to click on my sign up, and the first thing it's going to ask me is the name of the organization. So what is the name of the organization? I think I already have one, so but I'm just going to okay, so let me just do this 10 4 5 pixel. So I'm just going to use this, and I'm going to use my name. So now for the email, I want to use an email that I'm actually accessible to it, right? I want to use an email I'm accessible to it. So just give me a moment. Let me pick an email and kind of accessible to it at the moment. So in this case, let me just try this email. I hope that Sonia saying 631. Okay. So and then I'm going to set my password. So you're going to set a strong password. Don't forget, always use strong passwords for your account. So again, another thing is you can decide to just log in with your Google, or you fill in your information. I don't want to log in with my Google. I just want to fill my information, and I'll click on create my account. I just hope that okay, good. Right, so I'll click on create my account. So you can see that the next thing it has prompted me is for me to be able to verify my email, right? It's asking me to verify my email. Now I'm actually using my phone to verify my email, so I'm not going anywhere. And the moment it's being verified, so it says, hi Sonia, so actually my email has been verified because I did it using my phone. So I'm just going to put remind, I don't know, I'm coming. I don't know, I don't know. I'm coming. So let me just wait for it. So just a moment. Let me just wait for it. It's loading on my phone. So the moment it has verified on my phone, all right, I'm coming. So let me just refresh this. Okay, so it's still stating that it hasn't been verified. No, so I am actually verifying on my phone. I don't know why it's taking so much of my time to verify. So, but just a moment. I know I just have to verify before I can do anything. So just a moment. Let me get it verified. MailerLite. So now when you are creating your account, it is important that you verify your account. If you don't verify the account will not be active for you to be able to send your email campaign. So I'm still verifying in here. So let me just log into the account and verify it. So this is doing me shakara. So right after you verify your account, now verifying your account gives you access to using all the platform. And then secondly, one of the reasons they tell you to verify your email is so that they are sure that you're not using. Some of you can be very cunning. You can just decide to go and say you want to use emails that are not active, and the moment you use emails that are not active, it will not be accepted. So this thing is wanting me to do something I'm not ready to do, but I don't have a choice. I just have to, just a moment, I just have to copy the link to my email, and just give me a moment. Let me just see how to get one of my email. Let me just get my WhatsApp and send the verification link so that I will just verify it on this browser and move, because I don't have the time to waste in here. Right, so just a moment, let me copy it. So okay, so I'll just do that. So now the moment you verify your profile, now you're going to see, because I've actually copied the link they sent for the verification. So as long as I've done the verification, it's supposed to tick. You can see it is now done. So it's now telling me to complete my profile, right? It's telling me to complete my profile. Now in email marketing, there are two ways you do this. So the first thing is, now I'm just going to highlight this because it picked it as my first name. So I'm going to put this as my second name, and I'm going to leave my time zone. So always fix your time zone um to your time or to your country time. So my time zone is that way. Then the next thing I'm going to fix is my industry. What industry am I into? So I might just come in, I'm in the media industry, and they are now asking me what tools do I want to use. So I'm going to click everything, or maybe not websites, but you can decide to click everything, right? You can just click everything and move. So right after you have clicked everything, it's going to now say that you should now go into your organization. Remember, a um I gave it I gave it this name 1045 pixels, and My country is Nigeria. So you pick your country based on your country. So in this case, my own country is Nigeria, and I'm going to scroll past the anti-spam policy. You can read it because it's very important, at least for a beginner to understand. So I'll just tick the I have understood and all that. So I'm going to click on confirm. Now, in verifying your account, there are two ways to doing it, right? Two ways to doing it, in a sense that there are times where it's going to tell you to upgrade your account, especially if, now let me go back to my profile. If you have a website, right? So the moment you add up your, coming, where is it? So I don't know. I kind of prefer to always work with my light mode. Yeah, I always prefer to kind of work with my light mode. So in here is still on the profile. I'm still looking out for the profile because it will actually prompt you to, when you're completing your profile, especially when you pick the website, that is, you're not going to be using your Gmail to send emails. Now it's going to prompt you to, okay, I think it's in account settings. It's going to prompt you to set up your DKIM, your DMARC, and your SPF records, right? So I am just waiting for it to show me good. Look at it here. It's still on the account settings. So Jesus. So let's still go back to account settings. Now, in email marketing, there are some rules that govern email marketing, right? There are rules that govern email marketing. And that is actually what takes you from being a beginner in email marketing to being a pro in email marketing, right? So now we're going to come to our domains. Now, the idea of domains in here is the fact that if you update your domain to a custom domain, right? So it says custom domains are included in paid plans. But let me come here and just add a domain. So in this case, this is my domain. No, I bet it's 1045bgcheck.com, and I'm going to save it. So this is actually okay. Okay, my sending domain. So this is the custom domain. So I'm using 1045 digitech check.com, right? So this is my custom email. Custom email in a sense that this is an email I purchased. I'm not using a Gmail. So it's very important that you don't use your Gmail in email marketing, because when you are using your Gmail a lot, it's going to push a lot of spam in your email, right? It's going to push a lot of spam. So it says connect your domain. So because I have added my email, my custom email is asking me to connect my domain to MailerLite. So I'm just going to close this and show you. Can you see that because I added my domain, it's now telling me the name of my domain. And in this sense, my domain is 1045digitech.com. And then it says it needs authentication, right? It needs authentication. Then it has what we call the authenticate in here. So for me to be able to authenticate in this sense, now it's not going to work because I have not connect my domain. So you have the option of either doing it on the auto or doing it manually. So I'll just pick the auto. So can you see that immediately I picked the auto, it is telling me that I believe you can see the pop option. Good. It's not prompting me to add my details of my host ringer, right? It's not prompting me to add my details of my host ringer. I'm not actually going to do that. It's not going to be visible. I'll just log in my host ringer on a new tab, and I'll show you how to actually connect it. So I'll just log into my host ringer account. And now my host ringer account in here is um my host ringer is okay. Sorry, I'm coming. I'm coming. So my host ringer now is my hosting company. So depending on the hosting company you use, um there are a lot of hosting providers, right? There are a lot of hosting providers that you can actually shit. I don't know why this thing is taking me to the wrong email. Just a moment. Please, I needed to pick my correct email. Just a moment. Oh, okay, I'm coming. Just a moment. So now remember that there are different hosting companies where you purchase your emails, right? There are different hosting companies. And I know that the first question you'll be asking yourself is, how did I actually connect my how did I actually connect my email, right? So I'm just going to take us on a very brief journey into what I did, right? I'm just going to take us on a quick one before we connect this. Now, generally, for you to have your domain name, you must go to the various hosting companies that we have, right? We have a whole number of them. For people who are in Nigeria, we have like maybe the Smart Web. I'm just going to use Smart Web. We have Hostringer, we have Namecheap, we have a lot of them. So you coming in here and you're expected that to do email marketing the right way. Remember that I'm not even training you to use this. I'm training you because you can actually use these services to make out money. Make out money in the sense that you can manage. Oh, I'm so sorry. Actually, I've been sitting down like since morning. So you can actually manage your emails, right? Or your emails generally using your custom domain. We call it the custom domain. So in this sense, in here, this is the smart web. So basically, you come in, you purchase. So a .com costs 22,500. .com.ng is 7,000. .org is 15, and the rest, right? And then you purchase your hosting. So but me, I don't use a Nigerian, I'm not using a Nigerian host. I'm actually using Hostringer, right? So Hostringer is also a platform where you can actually use for your for you to purchase your hosting and your domain. So in this sense, I'm gonna just come to my Hostringer back end, and here is it. So this is my Hostringer back end, and remember that I used the 1045 Digitech, and I remember that I used the info at this, right? So the first thing, in as much as I don't have an info in here, I can just come in and let me just click on this view all. So you must first have a custom email. So now in your hosting plan, you get to create your custom. So I remember I used info in that case. So info at 10:45. So then I'm going to have my password. So this is actually my password that I want to use, and I'll click on create, right? So I'll click on the create. So I've created this email, as simple as that. And if I even want to create more, I'll keep on creating as much as I want. So, but I have already created my email. But remember that I'm coming back in here to talk about how Postfinger is telling me to connect um my account, and in this case I'll still click on the authenticate, and I'm going to use the manual method, and I'll tell you why. The key reason to why I'm using my manual method is because sometimes you it's not always successful when you try to use the automatic. And that is why I always advise that you start with the manual, you do the manual um, part of it, right? So coming back to my my domain, all I just need to do is I'm expected to work on my S my okay my DKIM records and my CNAME record. So you can see the records I'm expected to, okay, look at it in here. These are the records I am expected to connect into my provider, right? So coming back here, the first thing I have here is what we call the CNAME records. Now, why are you connecting this? If you do not connect this, any emails you, okay, look at it here, I don't know. If you do not connect all this, any email you send will go into the person's spam box, right? So there are times where you see that people send you emails and the emails don't land inside your inbox. They'll go to your spam. So, and that is why it is important that you connect and you authenticate your domain, connect it to your to your um to your email provider. So in here, the first one I have here is called the CNAME record, right? And the thing with all of this is it is the same. As I said, what you might just be having is different interface, but they are all the same across every email marketing provider. So remember that it is a CNAME record. So all I need to do is to update it into CNAME. Then now coming back here, they told me to copy this as the name. So this light srv.domain key, I'm going to copy it and I'm going to come back into my service provider on the name. I will update it to that. And then I'm still going to go back in here and I'm going to copy the value, right? I'll copy this value, I'll bring it back in here and put my target, right? So target is the same as value and I'm going to add my record, right? So my record has been added in. So I'm going to now go back again to this part and I'm going to click next, which is the text record. So you can see what I'm having in here. I'm supposed to do a txt record add. So I'm not going to copy this add because add means at 10:45, right? At 10:45 as the name. So I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to go back in here. So first I'll go to my type and put my txt, my text record. And you can see that the default value is already at add. And then I'm going to copy that other one and paste it. So the moment I paste it, now something is going to happen. You're not expected, you don't even need to know everything, but Remember I talked about your SPF records and the rest, right? Your SPF records, which is in charge of making sure that emails don't hit to your spam box. So all you need to do is click on add record, and it's going to say DNS record created successfully. So I'm going to come back in here and click verify domain, right? So it says copy domain verification text record. So this is also again a TXT record. So this TXT means text, right? And you can see it's still at add. So I'll copy only this. I'll go back to my DNS record in my host bringer, and I'm going to change my type to TXT, right, to the text record, and I will change the value into the value they have given me, and I'll add. Note that every hosting provider has its own, so it's not going to be the same, right? Then I'll still click on next, right? So I'll wait for the record to be successful. So the moment I have done this, all I need to do is wait for it to be successful. So usually it's going to take, sometimes it authenticates automatically, but sometimes it takes 24 hours to 48 hours for your domain to authenticate. So you can see it can take up to 48 hours for your record to become active. Now it says something, it says sender ID has more than one record, remove others and leave only one. So now what is happening is it's trying to tell me that there is also something similar to this. So all I need to do is I can just come in here, and I can just come back in here, and I'm going to do something. So just to be sure, what am I looking for? I'm looking for the SPF. So I'll just search for it. I'll do SPF, right? And I'll search. So what it's going to do is I want it to filter all the SPF records for me. Search now. S So all I need to do is I can just, since it's not letting me search it, I can just look at where am I having double SPF record. Look at it here, right? Look at it here. So I'm just going to delete one because it is a repetition of each other, right? I'll just delete that one and still check if I have another SPF record. So I'm not sure I have another, and I'm going to come back in here and check and still click on next, right? So check records, since I have updated it, right? Since I've updated it, so I'm just going to still, so let me do something. Let me still copy this, and then let me come back in here and still check if there's any VF records, right? So we just have to check this carefully. I don't know why the search bar is not working. So this one in here, let me still delete it and add it again, right? So I'm just going to delete it and add it. So I'm going to come back, and remember that it is a TXT record. So I'll just come back and change it to the text record, add, and state where it points to, and add my record, right? So I'll add it again. So why I'm doing it is because in case it's still not checking it, so I'll just do that and I'll check for it again. I'll check for it. So let me just refresh this. Let me refresh the page automatically. So usually this should take you about, about 24 to 48 hours for it to be authenticated. So I don't know why it's still telling me that This thing is still active. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just probably because it has actually not synced, but it's just one that I have here. I'm not sure I have any other record aside the one that I have. I don't think there's any other record. So, but basically this is actually one of the most important things you must always add, right? That is one of the most important things you must always add. So sometimes it might show you that it has not worked, but in the next 24 hours, when we come back and check, or probably 12 hours, you see that it has picked it, right? So it's not an automatic thing because they actually have to authenticate and believe that you are actually going to stick around their policies. So that is the one of the first key steps when it comes to setting up your email marketing ESP. And again, on the default settings, remember I talked about you setting it up, making sure that you are setting up the correct default settings for your for your campaigns, right? So you can come in and even do a custom color, the color, you can, yeah, the custom color. You can even decide to add a name, right? Enable the recipient's name. Who to, you can upload your logo and the rest, right? You can add your social media link. You can do a more about your email. So more of these company details is just this simple example where I'm coming. Let me just see if there's anyone good. Oh, shit. So just a moment. Let me just open something. So more about that email is like having a default footer for your email, right? A default footer. So I want to check any email that I have that has the default footer in it, right? I want to check. Oh, it's not opening. Okay. So in this case, this is on LinkedIn, and in this case, this is like the default footer. This is the default footer in here at 2025 by LinkedIn and all that. So that is actually how to set up your account on your email marketing provider. So another thing you should note is that if you don't have a domain name, you can just use your Gmail and create it. But if you actually do not connect a domain name to it, right, most times most of your emails will hit your spam box. That's just something you have to take note of, right? It will usually, and a time will come where they will personally tell you that you need to update to a custom email. So that is it about setting up your email, about opening an account and setting up an account or your email marketing account for your campaigns. So by tomorrow, we would look at how do you actually set up your listing, how do you set up your campaigns. We'll look at what campaigns are. We'll look at a very simple way to do your content drip and also set up forms in your email marketing campaign. So tomorrow our class will start quite early because we're going to cover a lot of things, right? So our class will start a little more, maybe probably it's going to start by 8 and it's going to end by, I think, about 10 or 9:30. That is to allow us cover a lot in email marketing, right? So because it's a whole lot, I just want us to make sure that we have covered that. So that is it about email marketing or about creating an email marketing account. So please, I don't know. I don't know. We have any question. So, all right. So I have two questions that I'm just going to, while people who raise their hands, um, okay, so I'm going to answer the questions in here before we talk with the ones who are raising their hands. So someone says that, how do we get a domain for us? So someone is asking how to get domain. Hmm. Okay, all right. I didn't actually want to talk about that, but since you asked, all right, I'll show you how to get a domain. I've already shown you how to actually set it up at the back end and create, but I'm going to show you how to use a hosting provider to get that. And then is the custom domain 1045 coming from 1045 pixels? Yes, actually 1045 pixels is a baby on that 1045. So we actually have a subdomain for it, right? So, but for the purpose of this class, I just wanted to show us how the custom domain thing works, right? So somebody asked, what is the difference between email marketing providers and domain? That is a very important question that you need to understand. So remember I said that your email marketing providers just allows you to send email marketing campaigns. They do not necessarily have power over your emails, right? What they allow you do is send bulk emails. Now, imagine you need to send emails to 10,000 people and you decide to use Gmail. In fact, Gmail will suspend you. The moment you send 200 emails in a day in your Gmail, you'll be suspended. And if you think it's a joke, try it. First, they will flag all the emails to your spam because they actually believe that a normal thinking person should not use his Gmail account to send 200 emails in a day or at a time. So what you need is your email marketing provider, and that is why I said we have a lot of them. Then your email now is actually what just sends the email, right, from the email provider, because the email provider in itself cannot work until it has an email, a Gmail now that powers it. It's just like your phone. Because you have a phone does not mean that automatically you would log into WhatsApp. You must have a WhatsApp account. You must have WhatsApp app, WhatsApp account. You must have data. So for you to be able to send campaigns, you must have the provider first, and then the emails, your own custom or your own, probably your Gmail. But I've told you the downtime of using your Gmail for that, right? Then someone said he's not hearing me. Please, if you're not hearing me, probably it's definitely from your own end. And I keep saying this, when you don't hear me, just leave the call or the class and come back again. You will hear me loud and clear, right? So can you have a custom email without a domain? No, it's not possible. You must actually have a custom domain before you can have an email. So it is inside the domain that you have an email, right? So also provide free domains. No, they don't provide free domains. You have to pay for it, right? You have to actually pay for it. That's the downtime. So, but again, for somebody who is just starting out, again, I'll keep saying it, for just who is somebody who is starting out, like you might not need all of that. You can just start with your Gmail. There's no harm in starting with your Gmail. But if you have about, I think, if not, because now, if you have about 20,000, right, 20,000 should be able to get you a custom email and a domain, maybe not from a foreign host, but from Nigerian host, you should be able to get that host from places like Smart Web, um, Harmon Web, quite a number of them. You can actually get domains, and from anything from 15,000 to about 20, 30,000, you should get a starter domain. So maybe tomorrow I'll just show us how to actually purchase a hosting and a domain, right? Because somebody stated it, but honestly today I'm so exhausted. Like, I think I've been sitting down, I've been sitting down since about 8 a.m. today. So I also need to, I also need to take my rest. So tomorrow, briefly, that is why we need to start early. So briefly, we'll just look at how to purchase that, and I'll just drop recommendations of posts you can actually use if you want to. But again, as I said, you can make use of free your Gmail, your Yahoo, you can use all of that, your Hotmail for now. After all, you are learning, you're just using it to learn and practice, right? So that when you want to start applying for email, even if it's an email marketing gig, you already um you already have experience working with it. So someone asked what time we're having our class tomorrow. Please, it's 8 p.m. We're starting from 8 so that we can round up by 10 and see how to cover email marketing properly, right? So please, again, you have an assignment. I'll drop it in the group. Go and create an account on MailerLite. Everybody should create an account, because the best way you practice is by is actually by the best way you know is by practicing, right? So you're going to now start connecting all your knowledge together, right? So please go and create your account. That's your assignment for today. And then we have Amadi, your hands are up. Please kindly mute, and let me just be sure that let me just grant access for you to be able to. Okay, so kindly unmute your mic and ask your question. Right? Please kindly mute and ask your question. Or have I responded to you? Please, my battery is almost low, so please, I just want you to, if you have a question,
Good
please, can
afternoon.
you,
Good evening.
yeah, evening.
Good evening, Coach Sonia. I just want to, I know
Evening.
I hit the so late and from I didn't meet up on time due to my electricity and short of think network as well. So I came a bit when you were creating the account on Millet. So
Mailer
and
light.
yes,
Mailer light.
MailerLite. So I want to ask this question. The email we are using to create it, is it the the client's email or your own personal email? Because
Okay.
I really don't understand the email mark of a team.
Okay. So basically, sorry, you're basically using um your client's email. You're not using yours. And then if you are creating the account for yourself, you're using your own email, right?
Oh.
You're using your own email. You're not going to use your own email for your client. So
And another
every
thing,
yes, so every client you have should have their own account.
okay. Another
Yes.
thing, can you customize the email? Can you
Yes,
customize the email on this MailerLite?
I think
Can you use
you
MailerLite in customizing?
no, you can't use MailerLite because basically your MailerLite does not give you email. MailerLite only allows you to connect your custom email from the email, and that is from your hosting provider. And I promise that tomorrow I'm going to put us through on how to actually purchase your hosting provider. But I think that's your hosting and domain. But I think I clearly stated how to create a simple email here on HostLinger. So when the recording is live, maybe you get to just download, check through, and you're going to see it. So please, if there is no other question, we're going to call this class. We're going to call this class bye-bye. So I so much believe that you got in value today. I so much believe that you learned something, right? And again, let's not forget, the best way you learn is by practicing. So don't forget to always go back to practice from what you have learned. So once again, have a beautiful night rest, and you all are welcome. And good night. So once this class, the recording is live, it will be uploaded on